Lightworkers and starseeds, are you ready for what's ahead? It's time to make the final shift. It is time to be a warrior for the light. Hi, I'm Saratoga Ocean, and today I want to talk to you guys about something extremely urgent in terms of our current global crisis. And if you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe so that you can join our growing community of spiritual seekers and lightworkers. Okay guys, we need to have a serious talk about what is currently going on our planet. There's so much I want to share with you, and I can't do it all in just one video, so stay tuned because there's much more coming after this one. Now, lightworkers and starseeds, I especially want to talk to you guys. And if you have been experiencing a spiritual awakening, then you are most likely a lightworker, so pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Now let's frame these current events in the simplest way possible. We have an entire planet of people, many who are currently living in a total lockdown situation, and major economies have come to a grinding halt. And all of this feels like it's happened virtually overnight. So it is a shock, and it's a traumatic one as well. People are living in fear for their survival on pretty much every level. Financially, health-wise, and psychologically. I mean, who could have predicted such a massive and sudden turn of events? Now, I'm not going to get into the possible causes for all of this in this video. I'll save that for another video. Mainly, I see that people are desperate for answers and looking for any possible ray of hope. So we need to address that aspect of things first and foremost. Because here's my concern. Being stuck in your house and being separated from other humans is still a relatively new experience. Not to mention living in fear of an invisible, seemingly deadly virus. And I think people might still be in a state of shock. But that shock is going to wear off possibly very soon. And then we could see a great deal more panic, suffering, depression, and sheer desperation. So what does this have to do with all of us as lightworkers? You see, before all this stuff went down, it was kind of easy to just say you were a lightworker or a starseed as though it were some kind of a title. I mean, it was easy to live in your own world and think that just meditating, using oracle cards or crystals or being vegan or, things like that was probably enough. And that was partly true because the world was running in a relatively normal way. So you had lots of time to focus on your own inner process. But we are no longer in that world. And that world is likely not going to come back in its previous form. There are going to be deep and dramatic changes as a result of this experience. So, all of these signs point to one thing. It is time to make a final shift as a lightworker and enact your purpose now. You see, I believe that the events happening today represent a breakdown that is preceding even more major events related to our ascension process. And I think it's clear now that your purpose as a lightworker or a starseed is not limited to just thinking about a career change with a spiritual purpose to it. Your fundamental purpose is to provide support to humanity to make it through this ascension process. So I want to share with you how you can proceed in that fashion. Firstly, you need to come to terms with this inside of yourself. Your spiritual awakening was designed to shift your consciousness away from your previous false identity into the revelation that who you are is an infinite being of love and light. You are a cosmic being whose source is well beyond this planet. And it's very interesting because the world that was supporting that previous false identity is actually breaking down completely. So now you can see why your awakening has been so necessary. I mean, your awakening was not just happening to annoy you with all of the changes that it involves. It was happening to give you strength in advance of what is occurring today. Now let's take a moment to set concerns about the virus completely aside. Instead, let's look at the fact that our entire human reality is collapsing. Now, we may come out of this and be completely fine, but we're never going to be the same after this. So now is the time to step up and show up. Ascension is happening, and we are here to support humanity in this time of crisis. So let's talk about what you can do at the stage that we are in right now. Firstly, it is imperative that you take good care of yourself and preserve your physical and mental health. This is so that you have the strength to be a light for others. And I'm going to be doing another video on exactly what you can do to keep yourself strong. But for now, I want to suggest a major paradigm shift for you because I am greatly concerned about the level of despair and panic that is setting in for millions and millions of people right now. So the shift is this. Are you ready to make a final shift from your former false identity to being who you really are and enacting the purpose for why you came to this planet? You know, we humans are so given to thinking that all the good stuff will happen later on down the road. I mean, we are expert procrastinators. We have this habit of projecting everything in the future so that we can justify staying where we've always been. So we can justify staying in our comfort zones. But now our comfort zones are literally collapsing. So the universe is giving us no choice but to step up and finally fulfill our true purpose and mission. Now, there's one other thing I want to mention with you guys. It is so important to stop romanticizing ascension. Ascension is not some airy-fairy process where we are all magically lifted up into a higher dimension. No, it involves real people and real physical change. Do you want to know what ascension ultimately leads to? It leads to bodies that are infinite and to planets, star systems, and universes that are also infinite. And by the way, that does not happen by dying. It happens by transmutation and by processes in this universe that we humans on Earth really know nothing about. Now think about this. If we humans stubbornly cling to our comfort zones in the physical world, coming up with every excuse imaginable to procrastinate with our much needed awakening, doesn't it seem kind of logical that at some point our physical world could start to break down? Do you guys remember what I told you about the 2020 ascension energies? I told you that they were going to accelerate and intensify. I told you that wherever people are at, good or bad, it was going to be amplified and speed up. Because with an amplification and an acceleration of that cosmic energy, you also have a corresponding amplification and increasing speed of how things manifest. Again, this is something that I will talk more about on a global scale in a future video. But for now, I want to take this one step at a time. There are only two things that you need to think about right now. The first is that you, as a light worker or a starseed, are urgently needed as your true self right now. You know, if you saw my earlier video about my previous UFO encounter that happened a long time ago, you might remember the message that was given to the hundreds of people that were on those ships from around the world. The main message was this: the time is coming soon to shed your false identity and be who you really are. And it was really clear that everyone involved was here to facilitate Earth into a major, major transition. And I'll put the link to that video down below. Anyway, I think it's obvious that that time that they said back then was coming soon, that time now has absolutely arrived. So we can no longer afford to project our purpose and Earth's transition into the future. You see, that's the problem with romanticizing ascension. When you don't see your romantic version manifesting yet, you tend to think it's not really happening. Then you wait around for this imaginary version to happen. And when it doesn't, you end up way behind the curve of reality, scrambling to try and figure out what is going on. So begin by letting go of all your romantic versions of ascension and stop projecting your full awakening into the future. See, here's the interesting thing. In this crisis, nobody cares about your false identity. See, there's no one out there that you can impress with how well you put that false identity together. I mean, that world is gone. So now you can step up and be the true asset that you were always meant to be. Now, the second thing you need to think about is how you are going to respond as a light worker or a starseed to this current situation. I suggest you respond as a warrior for the light. There is a lot of darkness in the world right now in the form of fear and despair. People need help. They need your light. And they need your love. That is the reason you came to this planet, to be the light and to show the way. Now, there are two main ways that you can help right now. One is physical and the other is energetic. Whatever you can do to bring love and light to the people in your life right now is imperative. Take really good care of yourself on a physical level so that you can remain grounded and clear. Stay centered in your heart and always come from love. And if there are ways that you can bring more love and more light to people through an online forum, then do that. Do not, under any circumstances, spread fear. Now, I know there are people who ridicule the idea of love and light as being useless. And as light workers, we know that is flat out false. Light is powerful, and love is the most powerful thing in the entire universe. It is literally what created the entire universe. So here's what I think about people who ridicule the idea of love and light. I think they have probably lost hope. I think they're expressing anger because they've lost hope. They may have completely lost touch with who they really are. So the best thing to do is just allow those people to express their anger in their own way while you move on to help the people that are much more receptive to your positive energy. But I want to make one very important point. Make sure that your love and light manifests in a physical way so that people can feel it. In other words, you don't want to just say, oh, love and light, because that's just words, right? You need to make sure that it is coming through your physical actions, your physical words, how you treat people, how you are, how you're supporting people. You want that love and light to flow through you as a vehicle, as a medium for that omnipresent power that is behind our ascension. Now, the second thing that you can do is to spend time meditating every single day, because that is what is going to put you more in touch with who you really are on an experiential level, and it will also raise your vibration and empower your ability to visualize the outcome that is best for all parties involved. And later on, perhaps I'll be able to talk more about how you can use your power to visualize to even enhance moving through this crisis and coming out in a very positive way. Now, I had a really beautiful comment from someone on my last video, and she suggested that perhaps we all take 1 hour a day to meditate instead of watching the news 24/7. And she said this is a perfect opportunity for us all to focus on our awakening on a global scale. And I wholeheartedly agree with this, because this is how we can exercise our true power as warriors for the light. Now, if you are a person who struggles with meditation, no worries. Let me share something with you. I have spent the last several months working on an online course with 12 guided meditations for spiritual awakening. Now, I've decided to drop the work I was doing on other projects so I can speed up the completion of this course so that it is available as soon as possible, because this can help you enormously during this stressful time. There is a guided meditation for every need you could possibly have have during this time and during your awakening. That way you will always have something to turn to when you need it. So I'll let you guys know as soon as that is ready. So for now, just focus on these two things. Take excellent care of yourself and your consciousness and keep your vibration high. And do this for the purpose of maintaining your ability to serve. And secondly, reach out to anyone you know who needs hope and support. And since we are all stuck at home, you will likely need to do this through a phone call or through some kind of online connection. And if you are living with your family members or anyone else, please treat everyone with love, respect, and dignity. Find ways every day to lift them up because everyone is going through a really, really difficult time. And I will definitely be here on YouTube 3 times a week, every week, specifically to support you guys. So please share this video out so we can spread a positive word. And give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. And be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so that we stay connected and I will be able to support you through this entire process. And with that, I'm sending you loads of love, light, and positive energy. Know that I'm definitely always here for you. Stay peaceful, my friends. Namaste.